But
Yes.
to Lamar Jackson, and here's what I've thought, and we discussed this before we started talking about the show because of our mutual connections in Baltimore and so forth, is that everything is going to be radio silent regarding Lamar Jackson because the big story is Washington and its ownership. And if everything goes through and Joe Harris, the co-owner of the 76ers and the Devils, becomes the primary owner, part of that ownership group includes Magic Johnson. And this now goes to the Jimmy Haslam deal in Cleveland. It's all about what the owner wants to do, not what the other owners think you should or shouldn't do. So if you're Lamar Jackson, you can't say, well, I know the Commanders are going to be sold and I'm good. But the amount of radio silence says I could drop what would be just an absolute disaster situation on the greater market of Baltimore. As you know, Baltimore and DC are two totally different places. The only place that recognizes that, right? The only thing that recognizes Baltimore and DC is the same place is the U.S. mail, right? So the mail only sees Baltimore and DC as one big place. But if you're looking at in terms of market share, the Commanders over the year and under their former name team have just been losing its fan base piece by piece, and they've been going straight to Baltimore and the story with Lamar Jackson there. If Lamar Jackson goes to Washington, D.C., with Magic Johnson as part of the ownership, and let's say he takes a guaranteed deal that the Ravens don't want to match, and it's way into the 200s. It may not be 230, it could be 228. Are you going to match it? And if you do match it, then okay, you could have given him the 230 the whole time. Really, the $2 million because we got to repave the parking lot. So there's some gamesmanship that Lamar Jackson could still play where the worst thing that can happen is this newfound expanded fan base that you pulled up from the bigger place, Washington, D.C., now comes away from Baltimore a little bit and solidifies D.C. in its new story. The history of the whole situation with the Commanders and their former team name is the pride really took off when Doug Williams took that team to the Super Bowl in the late 80s. And since then, they've been looking for that magical feeling that was a part of a few magical feelings during that time. It hasn't really happened since then. So if Lamar Jackson comes and he's not that far away from, he could still pretty much stay in his Maryland home. And now you're flipping markets, that can be very dangerous for the Ravens because now you got to start thinking about merch and ticket sales and all these other things that are beyond the world of sport. That him going to the Commanders would be the most dangerous play for the Ravens. And their matching may actually have to be the number that Lamar wants.
That could be interesting. A lot of teams were brought up and most of them were bailing out. I do want to say this, Magic Johnson, amazing basketball player, wonderful owner, worst Twitter follower you could have. He's just, every single tweet he puts out has to have great, exciting, unbelievable, or incredible in it. Every tweet.
Well, wait a minute.
And it's the basic stuff.
But you did see his late night talk show, right? His late night talk show sounds just the same way his tweets do. So it's just like, yes, I want to bring him a favorite baby. He's incredible. He's wonderful. He's Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is up here again,
After every Lakers game, he's like, oh, man, what a great game. Lakers win 112-108. Anthony Davis, 37 points. I was like, I can just read the box score for this nonsense, Magic. Come on, Irv.
Now, in fairness, he can't necessarily give you something because he is owner. So, you think about it. Are our bosses on Twitter?
Yeah.
Right. Are our bosses on Twitter? Like, okay, yeah, in the sports world, yeah. But like in the music world, none of those guys are on Twitter because they know they say the wrong thing, Like, oh my gosh, if I could just give Dua Lipa dual IPAs and have her over, we'd be like, you can't say that. That's the problem. So management can't just go off the rails on social media. He knows that.